If you're looking for an explosive growth opportunity that looks reasonably valued as we speak and even shells out a small but mighty dividend, I want to put your eyes on Meta. Why now? Well, just pulling up Meta's stock chart, I want you to see it all for yourself. Meta just plummeted below $600 per share. That was after trading for roughly $630 per share just a couple of weeks ago, kicking off 2025. So I want to get into what exactly happened when it comes to Meta, and then more importantly, just make the case as to why Meta is a solid investment opportunity for any investor with time to spare in the market. Now, that's key to note because I'm not here saying that all of us should go right on ahead and double down on this Meta stock opportunity. So if you're nearing retirement or already in retirement, I'm just going to go ahead and let you know now that I'm actually not a fan of this opportunity for you, meaning that you should proceed at your own risk. But just know that you are at least warned by me right here, right now in this video. Now, I say that because 2025 could be a volatile year for tech, given the upcoming inaugural policy shifts with Trump taking back the Oval Office. But more importantly, then we have inflation that's been creeping back up, which ultimately pressured the Federal Reserve to push back interest rate cut dates that were initially in place for us in 2025 that gave way to a lot of investor optimism. That should tell us that nothing's ever really etched in stone and that we as investors need to at least remain aware of our economic backdrop, just as these CEOs are. After all, we are the CEOs, or rather the CIOs of our own portfolios. But I want to digress from that and get a bit more Meta specific with you because the major news out of Meta as of the other day was an announcement that they're going to see an intense year lying ahead of them. In preparation, as per their internal memo, 5% of the workforce is ultimately going to be cut, which means that Meta's roughly 72,000 employees are likely feeling some anxiety right about now, awaiting February 10th, the final date that notices of termination will be sent out. Mind you, over the years, Meta has already been making a lot of drastic reductions in terms of their workforce, so I personally wasn't too shocked to hear and see the news. And as we all move forward together into a more technological advanced future, I would really only suspect that a lot of companies just across industry verticals are going to be making similar moves. The power of AI is real, and it certainly will help companies save money by way of letting go unnecessary personnel. Now, don't get too worried because just like, say, the Industrial Revolution, this means that different jobs will come around and hopefully society as a whole will advance, as we have seen in past technological revolutions. But what you really need to understand about Mark Zuckerberg's big plan and Meta as an investment opportunity is what this means for you and your portfolio. These layoffs are a part of Zuckerberg's Year of Efficiency initiative, which is a strategic push to really streamline operations and enhance Meta's financial performance. And it is in Meta's financial performance and ultimately their bottom line that I want to highlight for you because that's what's most important. So let's click into Meta's current financial statements to see Meta had one heck of an income statement, whereas we're going to see that revenue continues to pour in year after year, and as of this video, increased by roughly 15.6%. And that boosted net income, as we can see here, by over 68%. Now, scrolling down to get a general overview of Meta's balance sheet, we're going to see that Meta has only increased its assets over the years while reducing to the best they can their liabilities to ultimately achieve a asset total of over $229 billion, whereas liabilities are just coming in around $76 billion. That's a pretty good spread. And as we can see here, cash and investments are up as well by over 60% to their 23+% total asset increase. Getting just a tad into their cash flow, we're going to see again just green all the way around, making for a very healthy company to invest into for the long term. Now, if you're in need of a growth opportunity, this is why I'm highlighting it. But the big question right now really comes down to why invest into Meta now? Well, as an investor, we should also note the fact that it is never past performance that matters, but the future of the company. That's to say the direction of where they're heading. And while we cannot predict the future by any means, we can do our best to paint the picture of our future, which I would imagine is only becoming more AI and quantum computing oriented, which is where Meta actually comes into play with their Llama AI, which is insanely competitive with ChatGPT, believe it or not. Now, a matter of fact, Llama has quickly become the most adopted model with more than 650 million downloads of Llama. That is twice as many downloads as Meta had months ago. And Meta AI is on track to be the world's most used AI assistant with nearly 600 million monthly active users, which only significantly increases their AI training with every single user. Demand for Llama continues to surge around the world, with license approvals more than doubling in just the past 6 months alone. As it pertains to mixed reality, Meta also leads in this arena too. We've seen Meta Quest 3 just get better month after month as the Meta team continues to work on their core system pass-through, multitasking, and spatial user interfaces. And in 2025, we'll likely see the next integration of mixed reality as Quest 3S brings a lot more people into mixed reality for their very first time. But then we have the metaverse, which is almost sounding like it's old news these days, but it is very much still new news, because when you land on things that say really hit the mark with users, like the metaverse, mixed reality, Quest 3, or Meta's AI on glasses, that's when you put your foot on the gas. And we're just revving up here. And in my opinion, 2025 will be a very special year with the right Meta devices on the market and people experiencing them for the very first time, and developers really discovering all the opportunities ahead. We're talking about a year, in my opinion, worth of extreme acceleration. Now, if all of the Meta gadgets are just beyond you, because truly for me, I get overwhelmed when I think about the future, really going back to the future here, that is not too far out of sight for all of us. We also have to remember that Meta has their bread and butter worth of revenue streams, which is coming down to advertising. Whether it's on Facebook or Instagram and the alike, the algorithms are the gods and they're improving. Advertising is becoming more precise in terms of targeting, and that means the cost of advertising is actually going up for companies. But because it is essential for all businesses across industry verticals, the costs will be burdened gleefully. Now, I feel that we are going to be moving into a term under Trump, with Trump being a big friend of big business. We're going to see that many of these big businesses are just going to get back to spending, Meta being one of them, and it's going to flourish on all fronts. And finally, for all of you dividend investors out there, yeah, this one's for you, a sweet dividend stock. It's not going to come in with the craziest dividend yield. We'll click into Simply Safe Dividends to actually just discover, though, we do get a safety score here of a 70, not too shabby. The yield coming in at 0.34%, which I could in fact see growing over the years, very similarly to, say, Apple or Microsoft's growth rate, especially as the payout remains at a low here of 7%. But investors, I now want to know your thoughts on Meta. Are you buying? Or if not, what makes you so bearish on the company? Let me know down there in the comments. Of course, I want you to join me here on the channel this 2025 by subscribing, and be sure to click right here for my most recent chat with an investor who started way later in the investing game but still came out on top given how he's investing. With that, I'm going to see you all in the next one.